Hello and welcome to Northwest Knitting. My name is Kathy and this is my knitting podcast where I like to talk about my knitting projects, yarns that I love, and my journey toward making more sustainable clothing. I'm coming to you from Eugene, Oregon in the Willamette Valley, and you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Northwest Knitting. It's been a while since I've been here. I'll talk a little bit more about life events at the end. But in the meantime, during the, I think it's been maybe 3 months even, but during that time, I have kept knitting, and I have 3 summer tops to talk to you about. Which is a little delayed for summer, but any of these could be nicely knit up with wool, and I'm thinking about one of them in particular to do that with. So I'll talk about that, and then I have some whips to show you, and then I have a few books at the end as well. So if you're new here, welcome. I hope you find something of interest. And if you're coming back, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I enjoy your company, and I'm happy to have you join me. I hope you're all doing well. So I think what I'll do is I'll get started talking about these. I'm going to need some changing of clothes here, I think. But I started with this one because I got so hot getting ready to set this up. And it has been really warm here. And we're just going through a real particularly hot spell. We have had some glorious weather at different times. And I'm happy in the 70s. Tolerable in the 80s, and absolutely miserable in the 90s and above. So this isn't my happiest time of year, and who knows, we could go through some deep analysis. I'm born in the summer. This is my birthday month. I just had a birthday. But I almost feel like I have seasonal affective disorder in reverse, because summer is really challenging for me, and I always feel like I should be doing something glorious out in the woods, and I do sometimes, but not very much, and I don't know, summer is an odd time for me. But when the fall comes and there's some crispness in the air, I will be so happy. So anyway, I did knit 3 summer tops, and let me tell you about them. I have now put away summer fibers mostly. And let me tell you my adventures with these. So 2 of these tops are by the same designer, Isabell Kraemer. This one is Lilisoul, and I talked about this last year. I think it was in the very late summer. I was still knitting this 100% linen top, and I did a special episode, well, a usual episode, but I called it Knitting with Linen Yarn. So I talk about this yarn at great length in that episode if you want to revisit that. But the yarn is by Rerum Natura, and it is Antigone, and it's in the colorway Pensée. And it is I am not positive that they call it fingering weight. I treated it as fingering weight, and the pattern I used had a gauge of 24 stitches per inch. I'm never clear on if somebody thinks that's more of a sport, that you might. But all of these sweaters I knit more or less in the same gauge and needle size, at least the Isabell Kraemer. So for this sweater, I picked size 2 to achieve a bust circumference of 44 inches. As I said, 24 stitches to the inch. I'm pretty sure I used size 4 needles. And yeah, I think that was it. So the main thing about this sweater, and I haven't really worked out, I am wearing a black bra under this. And I tried white, and actually the black might work better. But it has a cute little kind of a daisy stitch. And I love this part. Coming down here, it's really great. It is not in the back. The back is 100% stockinette. But I love this, and I think it works pretty well. I'm not sure I really hit the mark here on my V-neck, and I tried it a number of times. It was as close as I could get, so I don't know. But I love, Isabell Kraemer always has beautiful finishes, and the stitch was really easy to do, except for the fact that I was working with linen. So I love how loose it is. It's of the 3 tops that I made, this one is really the best for super hot weather. You can see that you can kind of, it's not sheer, but it's a little translucent there. A lot of the time I was knitting this thinking, oh wow, would that be great in wool? I'm really not a plant fiber lover in terms of the knitting, but for hot weather, this is definitely the best I can do. So the yarn has many plies. I think it might have 10 plies. I could only tease out 5, but it has a lot of plies, and at times you could see one or two coming loose. But overall, it's a pretty nice yarn. I love the color. It's, yeah, it's something that towards the end, I was really longing for wool. So I mention that all the time when I talk to you about plant fibers. But Isabell Kraemer made this to be either short sleeved or long sleeve. She did not make it in linen. I think it would make a fantastic long sleeve sweater. So I have thought about making this in some wool. I have some Pearl Soho linen quill in a lighter color. I think this would really, the stitch definition would really pop. It's got kind of a drop shoulder, you can see here. Yeah, I don't think I made any adjustments for my hips because I knew it was, if it has some drape to it, then I can wear a 44 inches around here, and that's going to be big enough more or less for my hips. I do think that the fabric has relaxed and stretched a little bit. I think it's at least an inch longer than when I made this. So I told you that I did an episode talking about knitting this last summer, I think either August or September, and I put it aside when the winter came. And so this spring, I was very happy to discover it. And I think I was really about halfway through the body. So I didn't have that much longer to go. And it was really a treat to have a new summer top that I had done so much of the work earlier. So I really do love the pattern. She's just great. And the stitch was really sweet. This gracefulness here, I just think it's very flattering, and it's a pretty drapey fabric. So I don't know, I don't know if you had something a little crunchier, how it would work, but I was just really happy with this. So if I did make it again, I would use wool, a lightweight wool, because it's fingering 24 stitches to the inch. Is really a nice place for me, and I was real happy with it. So anyway, I highly recommend the pattern. And if you want to work with a plant fiber, the linen was not bad. It was definitely not, it wasn't hard on the hands at all. It has a real nice finish to it. It's just, for me, the fact that linen doesn't stretch and is so unforgiving in terms of mistakes or irregularities in tension. And I do have a little bit, a blobby spot in the back where I tried to tighten things up, and it looks a little weird, but there's something about it being on my back. I'm not stressing about it too much. So there we go. This is the Lilisoul by Isabell Kraemer. Highly recommend the pattern. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show is also a pattern by Isabell Kraemer. And let me get this out in a very, I think the last time I did an episode, I showed you this when it was under construction, and I'm real happy with it. So I'm going to try and pause but not turn this off. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go behind the scenes for a minute. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is the Isabell Kraemer Fiorellino. Excuse me for the paper crinkle. Fiorellino. This, I think she designed. I think it came out either maybe late winter or early spring. And I really, really love this pattern here. So it's just got, it does have a little bit of that daisy stitch, and it's just a really absolutely enjoyable many rows of texture here. I have to say, of the three tops, this was by far the most enjoyable to knit for two reasons. One, I just kept wanting to go and go and go with this here. Now, the only thing is that my only reservation about it is that the yarn, I think, doesn't show the texture quite as much. And I don't know, I hope you can see enough of it to get the idea. And I have thought of, I would love to make this again and make it long sleeved. So this one, the Lilisoul, Isabell Kraemer designed to be either short sleeved or long sleeved, but this one, she only has short sleeved. And I think because she has this sweet little finish here, which is also at the end. Now, this one, both of these have relaxed and grown a little. I'm super happy with the amount of the loosening, but I do have some experience with plant fibers where things have grown quite a bit, and then I have to put them in the dryer and tighten them up. But I'm super happy with this one in terms of its fit right now. Let me tell you about the yarn though. The yarn is Sea Change Fibers Shoreline Sport. I got it at our new local yarn store, Stringfield Yarn Collective in Springfield. And the yarn is 50% Shaniko wool, 25% silk, and 25% linen. And the colorway is Around the Mulberry Bush. And if you've had mulberries or seen mulberries, you know this is a pretty accurate colorway for that. The yarn was an absolute pleasure to knit with because you had that little bit of linen that I think gave some interesting those little white bits, so the yarn doesn't take it's not like a super solid. It is solid, but the linen I think is dyed differently, and so it just creates a lot of it's a wonderful color. There they had many colors I might have bought, including that color I was just wearing for the other sweater, but I don't have much of this in my wardrobe, and I thought it would be a nice change, and it has been. So it is half wool though, and I just love this top in every way. It will not be good above like 80 degrees for me. I run really hot in the summer. It just doesn't take much for me to be boo-hooing and complaining about high temperatures. So if you believe in climate change, it's kind of a bummer being me on that score. But it's great yarn. It is just a little warm. I could see myself wearing this with a cardigan though, and in interim temperatures, if you want to, if you're layering up for traveling, this would be a great top, and I could imagine wearing it in the winter with layers that way. I'm just super happy with the yarn. I did think I didn't use up every bit of the yarn, and I did consider, I think I made the sleeves a little longer than she suggested, not too much. And if I had had a little bit more yarn, I might have made 3/4 length or even longer, but I didn't really. I bought the yarn specifically for a summer top, and I really didn't have enough, I think, to go much further. And I love the finish here, which is also on the bottom. So I think if you had a crispier wool, the texture here would really pop a lot more. I think there's something about the silk and the linen seem to, I think, flatten the texture. I don't know, maybe you can think of another way to describe that, but I have experienced that with a number of things, like and often they're yarns that I absolutely love. There's no prickle whatsoever. They're just glorious yarns, but I'm thinking of like Nua Sport has linen and oh gosh, it has yak, I think, and some wool. Just there's something about the addition of the plant fibers and sometimes silk, I think, that just change it. Now, if you, I really would love to see what this would be like in a yarn that was just a little bit, not crunchy, but something with a little more stitch definition. I think it would be fun. But I love the neck. I did it exactly as she said. Both of these, all these tops are top down. So anyway, I'm real happy with this. I highly recommend the top, and I'm curious to see if anybody in the projects, I'm sure somebody is making this long sleeved, and you could, I think, easily take this finishing here and move it to a cuff. So anyway, highly recommend it. I hope you've been able to see the texture here. And I had some pictures, but I'm not going to stop and figure that out. I'm going forth so I get this thing posted and uploaded. So anyway, this was number 2 top. And now I am going to show you one last summer top that I made, finished for this year. And this one is by Samantha Guerin. So here it is. Let me go put that on. My hairs, all kinds of, there we go. Okay, now this one is made of 100% linen, but it is a chainette, and this is called Summer Saunter by Samantha Guerin. Last year I made her salty air tea, and I love that sweater. And I thought very seriously about making that one again, or making a different, she had some other summer tops. I considered those. I really love the V-neck, and especially on a hot day, I just, I don't want anything up here. So I really like this. It's another drop shoulder type style sweater. It has lots of drape. So the yarn I used was CaMaRose Lovetand, and it was in the Midnats blah colorway. And I am pretty sure, I think Lovetand is more of a sport weight, and the gauge for this sweater is 19 stitches. For 4 inches, I use size 4 needles again, though. But for this one, I made size 4. I think the other 2 sizes I made size 3 for the Mulberry colored one. I made size 2 for the Lilisoul, and now this one I made in size 4. Also, to achieve a bust circumference of 44 inches. So it really shows you different patterns. Even with the same designer, I used different sizing. And this one with a different designer, even bigger. So it really depends on how much ease they're suggesting, how much ease you want, and really, it's very interesting to me. So 44 inches for all of them. Anyway, this one is a chainette yarn, and it again, I had a little bit of trouble. I think this is not the patterns. This is me with the middle here, but I love this edging. And I did make a big modification. For this pattern, Samantha has you double over the edge, and for both the sleeves and the body, the hem here, I did not do that for either of those, partly because the chainette created an interesting density, and sometimes I look at patterns and I think there's something really smooth about the fabric that might make a particular look, a particular pattern change look really nice. But this felt, when I was handling it, it felt pretty thick to me. And maybe it wouldn't have, maybe it would have been fine, but I ended up just doing a simple rib on both the bottom. And I love, again, how drapey I got with this. This has grown, definitely. When I first made it, I knew it was going to grow, and I made it pretty short. Actually, here's the top of my skirt. I am right up there, but I knew it was going to grow. I feel I have not reached the end of the growing. I could be wrong. I'm super happy with how it is right this minute, but if it did grow a little bit, it would be okay. It's very drapey fabric, as you can see, and working with the linen chain net was so much easier than the more traditional ply of the Antigone. So much, much easier. Not that the Antigone, I told you before, it was not super hard on the hands. It just, this chain net was much more forgiving with tension variances. And so I really have no complaints whatsoever about working with the chain net. So this is definitely intended as a summer top with short sleeves. I can't think of any reason why it couldn't be made into a long sleeve top. And I could see doing that. I think the one I'm most likely to knit again, because I enjoyed the texture so much, was the Fiorellino in the mulberry color. That was just, the texture was just so much fun. Kind of the way I really enjoyed ranunculus texture. To me, it was just, I just wanted to see what happened next. It had a cute little daisy stitch, and also it just, the way it was spooling out from the yarn, it just felt great. So I could see doing that one. But this one, I don't see any reason why it couldn't be long sleeved, and I do love the neck. So also the way the neck, so I have these two V-necks and then the Fiorellino. None of them seem to be, even though I do think the fibers will stretch, they started out being, these V-necks are not going to be stretching out on me. They're very sturdy. You pick up the stitches for both the V-necks. It just makes the whole thing tighter and sturdier, and I don't think I have anything to fear. There's just nothing worse than a summer top that's halfway down your arm. Well, there's more worse than that, but anyway, it does. I don't enjoy it, so I'm super happy with the fit around the neck of all three of these. So those, I think that's all I have to say about my summer top experience. I did intend this summer to do some sewing. I have a big pile of fabric that I got out. I bought some patterns, and I just got stuck And because I haven't sewed in many years, it's the kind of thing where I know, oh, I have to do this, get over this little hump. And right off the bat, I ran into a printing problem with one of my patterns, which fortunately somebody in my knitting group figured out. But anyway, I just never got started. I'm not ruling out returning to that and maybe sewing up one thing, but oops, I'm making it jiggle here. But anyway, the sewing didn't happen, which I'm kind of sad about. But anyway, so I do have some works in progress. So let me tell you, well, I have one. I have several here. One is about a year ago, maybe, I made this hat by Ailbiona McLochlainn. It's a beret, and I love it. It's called Stalk and Pip, and I made it out of Barocco Ultra Alpaca, and it's really great. It's top down, has this cute little picot edge, and I really have enjoyed it, and I could see making another one for myself. But in the meantime, my son asked for a beret, and he's also an August baby, so I was trying to make him happy, and I had some yarn that I thought would work. So here I am. I'm very close to the end. I just love this pattern. It's really hard in black, as you can imagine. But let me show you the two yarns I'm working with. I'm a little concerned that it's not big enough because I did not block my swatch. I think it will change quite a bit with wet blocking. And I was going to do that before finishing, but now I'm so close to the end, I think I might wet block it before I do the final bind off. But I'm going to just do a little bit more. So let me tell you about these yarns. One I got at Eugene Textile Center in Eugene, and I got it as part of a estate sale. But this is Imperial yarn, and it is half alpaca, half wool. It's very black, and Imperial is an Oregon company. It's 100% American grown. I got it for $6 and for this little skein, and so I thought I'd use this, and then I thought it was a little on the thin side for the pattern, which calls for DK, so I bought another skein at my local yarn store, and this is the Lana Gatto, and it is fine merino with 20% cashmere. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have made a change with how I am filming, and I should not be mirror image, and you should be able to see the names of things without having it backwards, so we'll see. But anyway, this is a really great pattern. I'm knitting it rather firmly, and I'm hoping it's growing like crazy because he is a large. I did a cute little, she calls it a pip. I did my cute little pip on my version, but my son and also my husband, who wants one, also don't want the pip, so I did just a little tiny, I don't know if you can see, just that little, it's still, the string is still do. You start with a little I-cord and then expand. So it'll be a very tiny little blip there. So that's going on. And then I am making a shawl. Now, my motivation was in large part initially because I was desperate for something to knit where I didn't have to think. So this shawl, I am using at least the beginning of a pattern by Isabell Kraemer again. It's called The Girl's Best Friend Shawl. And there you go. This was super popular when it first came out, and I am more or less following it for now. The only thing is, I always thought it would be fun to do this sweater. I've had the pattern for years, actually. And I always plan to follow the pattern and use color and so forth. But I have a lot of this yarn, and I bought them at the same time. They're the same colorway. You can see they're a little different, but I'm holding them together because it's a very, very fine yarn, and holding them together brings it up to, you know, fingering or sport. And it's a shawl. I don't really care too much at all about gauge, really. But so I've had this yarn for years. I wound it up by hand. I didn't put the tag in the middle. I know it's called Cumulus, and maybe if I finish it, before I finish it, I'll be able to find the little tags. But it's it might have a little bit of cashmere in it. It's a very luxurious, it was expensive. For years, this is my very, very favorite color. I just haven't used it. There's a lot of yardage. I do remember it's almost 500 yards for each skein. So even though I love her pattern, I might just make this all one color and use up all of this yarn, which has been sitting right in here for, I would say, I don't know, I'd say at least 3 years, maybe 4. So I'd love to use it up. I love the color, and I think it'll make just a really sweet and light shawl. I could make this a little bigger than I usually do because it's so light, and you can see holding the two together really looks nice. So anyway, this is my on the go, can knit it anywhere, and I will just probably vary the she has some texture, different textural things she has in the pattern. I might do that, but if I'm knitting along with friends and I don't have the pattern with me, I will just keep knitting as it is, and it's just my relaxing pattern. So anyway, that's been kind of fun and has given me something to have in my hands at times when maybe things are a little stressful. So let me tell you, so that's 2 of them. Before I go further, let me tell you, I bought a book. I'm sure many of you know Denise DeSantis, who calls herself Earth Tone Girl. She has lots and lots of video on making socks, and I have just been so impressed with her, and found recently that she was coming out with a book, and I pre-ordered it the minute I heard her say she was doing this. And so as soon as it came out, it arrived in my doorstep, and I was just super happy to see it. So it's No Fear Sock Knitting. Take the worry out of knitting socks with this beginner's guide. And I'm just really, excuse me, really happy with it. There's a nice interview with Corinne of Woolly Thistle with Denise, and I highly recommend seeing that. It's really enjoyable. Okay, let me just show you a little bit of it. She has, basically it's a how to get started with socks, and I've made quite a few socks now, maybe like 8 or 9 pairs. I've told you many times before, it hasn't been my happiest thing. I love the magic of turning a heel. I just think that's awesome. But I thought I'd like a book that really talks about, she really is great for somebody who just has, is at the beginning and has maybe silly questions or, yeah, she's just, I think her video on tutorials is just fabulous. And I recently watched her shadow wrap short row heel tutorial and really liked it because it looked like something you could, if you just memorized it, you would never, you wouldn't need to know numbers, and it just seemed really useful. So she talks about how do I knit socks, the different ways, the different needles you might use, how to prepare. She has a really nice instruction about fit, and let me show you some really lovely patterns here and colors. How do I knit socks, how to manage your yarn, how do you, she has prepare, making a little template for yourself, which I intend to do. And then she has cuff options, heel options, shadow wrap short row heel, heel flap and gusset. Those are the 2 main ones. How do you avoid holes? What are my toe options? She has different options for that. I just really think it's a real useful book if you haven't really gotten very far with socks. Then this would be a great way to start. How can I improve? She has a lot of tutorials in here, and then she has some patterns. So she has No Fear shorty socks, rising up socks. She has toe up and toe down or cuff down. I think you can do either one for any of the patterns. She has some just basic socks there. She has a DK sock. I just love all the colors, actually. Not really my color palette, but so soothing and pretty. Socksploration socks, which does have a shadow wrap heel. So there's her shadow wrap heel. And yeah, they're pretty straightforward, easy ankle socks. And a helical. Here's a colorwork one. I like that quite a bit. It would be a really super easy way to get some color work. She has a real nice helical pattern, which I've actually done that before, and it was very satisfying. And here's one called the Alacrity Sock. So it's the garter stitch heel flap, square heel turn, round toe. Nice. So anyway, super happy about that. And I've cast on, which now I can't find, of course, but I've cast on a pair of socks for one of the granddaughters. Oh, wait. Is that it? Nope. I did find some really cute mini skeins, though, for granddaughter socks. So lots of fun colors, and I'm using these for socks. I might as well take the opportunity now. Speaking of granddaughters, another one is on the way. So I have 3 granddaughters and one more coming this winter. So let's hear it for the girls, huh? Okay, and my last whip I have is, it's a sweater I've made before. It's called the Ultimate Lazy Cardigan by Ailbiona McLochlainn. It's TULC is what she calls it. It's a very, this is with a screwed up printer, but you can see just a very basic sweater. It has an integrated button band. I made this pattern. I loved it. It has some nice contiguous sleeve, which at the time I made it was new to me. Now I'm seeing it all over the place, but loved it. It fit perfectly. The yarn was terrible. And it always looked, it looked worn and old really early. I don't know what was wrong with it. It wasn't really pilling. It just looked, I don't know. It did have a lot of silk in it. I don't know. I mean, silk doesn't have, I mean, most of us have tried a little bit of silk and things. It's always, I mean, there's lots of silk yarn around that looks glorious. I don't know what it was, but it was just not a nice yarn. And I finally just put the sweater in the Goodwill. I could see somebody might not be troubled by it, but I just didn't like it. So I had made this beautiful pattern and felt very sad about it. So I am knitting it again. Here's the back, and I am and then here's the sleeve at the top here. It's not hard. You do have to keep track of your stitches. I know that when I knit this the first time, I moved the button on the button band, and I'll put a link to my the first sweater I did, because I say how much I moved it in. I think I just moved it in a little bit. And also, there's a lot of buttons on this sweater, and I think you could space them out a little bit more, unless you really, really like them button, but I don't really feel the need for that, so I did not do that. This yarn I'm using is half wool and half linen. So this is something I intended to make a summer pattern from. A summer cardigan. I really got it in my mind. I needed several summer cardigans. Didn't happen. I don't know what happened, but it didn't happen. And I have some dresses. I think a light little cardigan would be great with those. It just never got around to it. So I finally am doing this cardigan, even though, but it does have wool in it. So let me find somewhere. Oh my gosh. Hang on. I believe I have more yarn up here. So here we go. It is, the yarn is Tumalo fiber. It's from Bend, Oregon. And I love the yarn. I bought this at a trunk show at Cozy Yarn, the yarn store in Eugene. And I intended to buy a woolly yarn that was from, if not Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. But I wanted it to be non-superwash, and she does have a lot of non-superwash yarn, but sometimes the yarn base and the colors that that are popular just don't always agree with me. And so because I go for these cooler colors, sometimes I'm limited by my own preferences. And so this one, though, I thought, oh, I love the idea of wool and linen. And it's not 50-50. It is 70% organic wool and 30% linen. And it's called Wildly Woolly Flax DK. And it is in the Hyacinth colorway, hand dyed in the shadow of the Cascade Mountains. And this is not from Oregon. It's not from the United States at all. It was hand dyed in the United States, as is so often the case with some of the yarns we find. It's a lovely yarn. It is wool, GOTS certified European wool, linen, from Belgium, spun in Peru. So this yarn has been all over the place. We have we don't know where the wool is. The linen is from Belgium and spun in Peru, dyed in Oregon. And it's lovely. It's a beautiful yarn, and it wasn't my intention. I was really trying to buy locally, and I didn't succeed there, but I did succeed in getting some really nice yarns. So anyway, it does seem to have a lovely drape, she says. Says on the back here. And definitely a great yarn for a transitional garment. So that's what's planned here. It seems to be zipping along really nicely. I have a little bit, I've done most of the short rows, and once I get past the short rows, then it's just smooth sailing. There's nothing tricky about this. It is a lazy cardigan in that I don't have to pick up the button bands, and she does create, Ailbiona has a nice firm edge that I'm happy with for the button band. So anyway, I'm real happy with that, and maybe I'll be finished with it by the time I see you again. Okay, I'm looking and seeing that I am running out of time. So I think what I'm going to do, I should be okay a little bit longer here, but I'm almost up to an hour, and I am trying to keep it shorter. So I'm going to end the knitting there. I hope you found something useful or interesting there. And I want to just say briefly about some real life things. I had such a problem. I have had such a problem with my back. It's taken a long time to get to specialists, but I worked really hard all spring and this summer on doing my physical therapy exercises in my house. And then I also have been going to the pool 3 or 4 days a week and doing deep water running with a flotation device. So I'm in water over my head running, and I believe this has really helped turn me around. The big issue was that I was crooked, and I think hanging is really, because I'm in the water, I'm over my head, and it just pulls my spine in an elongated position. And I think I have been feeling a whole lot better. Still haven't seen the specialist, which I'm due to see in the next week or two. I will be having some of those meetings, but then I'm not sure quite what to do. I know the solution isn't permanent. I don't feel that I can stop doing the pool. I did have an MRI, and I do have severe spinal stenosis at one level, so that's not going to change. But anyway, I wanted people to know that I have gotten better, because I think I've complained to every human on the planet about it. And so I wanted you to know that. I also had some great family time this summer, which was wonderful with the grandkids and both sets of kids and their children, and we had all got together in Seattle, so that was lovely. My dad had some health issues that we went down to see him, but he's doing really pretty well. And yeah, so it's just been kind of a one thing after another, and the longer I stay away from this, the harder it is to get back here. So anyway, hopefully I will pick things up again, especially with the weather, when the weather cools, which there's no sign of yet, but it will. Okay, and just real quick, maybe I'll just tell a few of the books. I read maybe 4 or 5 books a month, so I have so much to say, but I just want to say a couple things. One is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Is all about somebody who dies and kind of gets a second chance and has a whole library of different lives they could have lived that they can test out. It really was interesting to me because I thought a lot about questioning whether I had many regrets as I reach my vast age of over 70. And it was very interesting, and realized I don't have too many, and that's kind of the story of the book. So anyway, I really, that was enjoyable. A quick read, enjoyable read. Another one I really liked was The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. Do I have it? Here's the Matt Haig Midnight Library. This one is The Dictionary of Lost Words. This one was really interesting. It was about the writing of the Oxford English Dictionary, and it was quite, there's been lots of things written about that process. It was really interesting, and the book is really about a young woman. She grows up with her father working on the dictionary, and how she feels that a lot of words related to women and women's experiences are being omitted, and she starts collecting these lost words. I really enjoyed that book. It's kind of historical fiction. There's some real characters in there. Really enjoyable main character. So I highly recommend that. And finally, there was another, oh, I read one that really interesting. I don't know, I do know a number of people who are transgender, but I don't know anything about raising a child that's transgender. And I read a book called This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel. And it's about a family of 4 boys where the youngest child wants to be a girl, and what that means for the entire family and that child. And what I loved about the book, first of all, realized I didn't know anything about anything related to that. So if you feel very confident that you do know, you might read the book. I loved the family. I love the parents. If there's anything from a literature standpoint, these are pretty perfect parents. They're not absolutely perfect. I'm sure somebody who is trans might point out ways they could have done better, but overall I thought they were fabulous parents. And it's just wonderful to read a book about fabulous parents instead of all the ways they're screwed up and and everything. I really enjoyed that book. I love the characters. It was just a very enjoyable book, and I highly recommend it. So I think that's all for now. I've now gone past an hour, which I know people do, but I think I'm gonna stop here before something untoward happens. And hopefully I can post this and get it going again, and I can start appearing in your feed again. So if you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you did. Give me a like or recommend me to others. If you have ideas from this, you might mention where you got the ideas, and please come back if you can. And if you do press the subscribe button with the bell, then you will get a notification. I know people can kind of fade out on me if I don't make a special effort to get the notices or even look them up. So anyway, on one final note, I am very unhappy about what's happening in the United States right now. So I want to be on record as saying that. I'm not going into the details of why, but I am unhappy, and I have to say that on occasion, I don't feel like posting about knitting is the thing to be talking about, but it gives me so much solace, and I think it does for you too. So I am going to just keep going with this, and I hope you're all taking good care of yourselves, and I really hope you're getting comfort from your craft. So until I see you next time, happy knitting.